smallpox? Have you got the rabies, huh?
Great night.
Are you foaming at the mouth?
There we are. How are you?
What have you been up to, you dirty pervo?
What are you talking about? It's me escapology night classes over in the Pubixtown Library. I'm the Great Rodgini.
You mean the great scuttering gobshini? That's one big waste of time, and I'll tell you why. Gus the Mole Geraghty was Ireland's premier safecracker and an accomplished jailbreaker. His life was just one big game, robbing banks, getting caught, going to jail and breaking out. The authorities were fed up with his escapades and eventually threw him in the hole.
The hole? On Hole Island? Sure, no one's ever gotten out of there.
Well, Gus the Mole Geraghty did. And here's how he did it. After 6 months in the hole, Geraghty was allowed up to work in the kitchen, serving up slop to the inmates and staff alike. Over the next few weeks, he was totally occupied with planning his escape. He managed to fashion a key out of a fork.
Now that's a bit easy, him working in the kitchen and all.
Well, not really. He had to swallow it every night, just in case they did a random search of his cell.
Oh, Jesus. Every night?
Over the next year, Geraghty kept his head down and managed to make his way to head chef in the kitchen. He gave extra portions of rice pudding to one warden in particular, Frank Darcy, or Frank Death, as they used to call him, because he worked in the morgue. He was a bent screw, as they say inside, and they both struck a deal. Frank would help Geraghty escape in exchange for £20,000 from Geraghty's stash. They concocted a most cunning plan.
What was it?
Well, the key he had fashioned would get him out of his cell, but getting out of the triple-layered, 30-foot, highly guarded prison complex required something ingenious. Tommy Rancid, a serial murderer, was at death's door with terminal gout of the bowel. The plan was this. When Tommy was dead, Geraghty would be given the nod by Warden Frank. He was to slip out of his cell under the cover of darkness, sneak into the morgue, and join Tommy Rancid in his casket. He would escape in the coffin with the corpse, the coffin being punctured with discreet holes. Once you're buried, you'll have 5 hours of air, plenty of time for me to dig you out. Frank told him.
Jesus, that's some plan.
Indeed it was, and it worked like a dream. From inside the coffin, Geraghty could hear the gates of the prison close behind him. A short journey, and then a few morbid Latin words. And then the scraping of the earth as the coffin was lowered into the 6-foot hole. Mustn't panic, he thought to himself. Must conserve air. As the soil was piled on, then there was silence. All he could hear was the beating of his own heart. The putrid smell of old Tommy Rancid was starting to make him gag. Mustn't panic, he kept repeating. The hours seemed like days. What's taken that bastard so long? He muttered to himself, now drenched in sweat, the panic setting in and the air running out. He reached down into his pocket and managed to pull out a lighter. He had to know had he been there 40 minutes or 4 hours. He struck on the lighter and illuminated the face of his watch. But the watch face wasn't the only face he was confronted by.
Yeah, but Tommy Rancid was in there with him.
No, Warden Frank, dead as a doormat.
Jesus.
Yep, only minutes after the warden had given him the nod, he had a massive coronary, and poor old Geraghty had ended up in the wrong box with the wrong corpse. This was one safe that Gus the Mole Geraghty would not be breaking out of.
Jesus. So he managed to slip out of one hole, only to end up in another.
Huh? It's easily done, Rodge. Easily done.
Come here. I'll show you my latest trick. Here, lock these for me. Lock me handcuffs.
Hey, yo.
Right, now, set my side of the bed on fire, Podge. I've already doused it with petrol, and I, the great Rodgini, will be free in 1 minute. It's getting tied up. Business is great. Let's see, I'll loop that through.
That
there.
reminds me. My 11:30 appointment with Miss Dominina. Mustn't forget the clamps. Come on, Fox.
It's stuck. Oh, it's stuck. Oh, God, it's getting awful hot. Podge! I'm a bit stuck. I've changed my mind. I think you better come back and untie me. Podge! Podge! Oh, jeez, I'm burning. Oh, Podge, come back!